All right, moving through the Patreon requests, and this one comes from my good friend Jason Voorhees 2011, who asked me to do a Patreon request of a three-way crossover between Power Rangers, Powerpuff Girls, and Sailor Moon. So, as always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below. Head on over to my Patreon where you guys can hit the 3rd tier, and that'll allow you to access to send me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But if you just want to check out the stuff over on Patreon, you can hit the 2nd or 1st tier. That'll give you access to various things. Anyway, let's get started with the video. So the story begins with, basically, Rita, who is just kind of out in space, and she's just kind of thinking to herself, like, what can I, like, just angry. She's just angry that she can't beat the Power Rangers. She's unable to stop them. And essentially she gets this idea because she knows she's on the moon. She's like, of course, why didn't I think of it before? So Rita, alongside her minions, Goldar, Babu, and Squat, they all go out into out into the wilds of the moon, and even Goldar's confused. He's like, my queen, what are we doing here exactly? He's like, shut up, you groveling monkey, I've got an idea. That idea is that essentially what Rita intends to do is to find the Silver Millennium. She reveals that, like, eons ago there was another race of beings, the people of the moon, who lived in this place called the Silver Millennium. And long before Rita ever came to Earth, someone did come to Earth first. Or her father, Master Vile, tried to conquer the Earth beforehand, and the Queen Serenity managed to fight him off. So she believes that there's something in the ruins of the Silver Millennium that can maybe help them. And what they find the Silver Millennium, and as they're walking around, as they're like trying to look through the stuff, they find, like, deep in the bowels of a temple, like Finster reveals, it doesn't look like a temple at all, Master Rita. It actually looks more like a prison. And she's like, then maybe there's a prisoner inside. So they go into the bowels of this prison and find a crystal. This huge, massive, dark crystal in this prison, and Rita uses her magic to, like, just blast it open, and out comes this woman who looks almost reptilian, and has, like, hair that looks like long, spindly tentacles, and this is a new villain specifically created for the story named Meera, and Meera reveals herself, and she reveals that, like, she was Meera, queen of the nothing. And basically she's kind of like Null, in the sense where Meera was this being who existed outside of time and space, invaded, but what happened was Meera was defeated by Queen Serenity and Zordon. And she's like, and Rita's like, what a coinky dink! I hate Zordon too! So, how about you, I'll send you down to Earth, defeat the Power Rangers, and we can rule the world. And Meera's like, hard pass. And what she does is just blast Rita and her minions. Like, they try to fight, but Meera, like, just gets the upper hand on them, and Rita, like, has to, like, retreat. But now free, Meera, like, sets her sight back on Earth. And she's like, it's been so long. I can't wait to see what new challenges await for me and who I get to kill next. So Meera, like, flies down to Earth, like, teleports herself down to Earth, and she lands not in Japan or Angel Grove. Her first target is Townsville. She just picked a city randomly and has landed in Townsville. Now, obviously, this does not go unnoticed by other forces. In Angel Grove, Alpha 5 and Zordon pick up on the dimensional disturbance caused by Meera, and that's when he calls the Rangers together. He's like, we have a dire situation. They're like, has Rita unleashed a new monster? No, I fear that this is a creature darker. And he explains, like, the whole thing, like, eons ago, before I lost my physical body in my battle with Rita, I protected the Earth alongside another great warrior named Queen Serenity, and together we defeated a being called Meera, and we trapped Meera in the bowels of her kingdom on the moon. But now Serenity's gone, and I fear Rita has freed Meera to unleash a new era of darkness on the world. And they're like, well, where is she? And Meera is in Townsville. So it's like, the Powerpuff Girls, they can handle anybody. And he's like, I fear they may need extra help. And that's when Tommy goes, all right, guys, then you know what it means. It's morphin' time! So they morph, they teleport to Townsville. While this is going on, in Japan, Luna and Artemis have kind of figured out, oh shit, Megaera's free. So they call them together, tell them the same story, and they're like, so wait a minute, you teamed up with Zordon? Like, my mother teamed up with, like, Zordon. Leader, why does that name sound familiar? He's like, yeah, he gets mentioned with those he's connected to those Power Rangers. And they're like, so Megaera's in Townsville? That means the Powerpuff Girls are there, and maybe the Power Rangers too. Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. So the Sailor Guardians are head out to Townsville as well. Now Megaera has already made herself known in Townsville. Like, she's already wrecking shit. She's already destroying things left and right. And that's when the Powerpuff Girls show up, and they're like, "Hey, we don't know who you are, but we got a rule around here not to break things. There's kind of a no vandalism rule. And Bubbles is like, especially from big lizard doodoo heads like you." And Buttercup's just like, after this, Bubbles, we're gonna work on your trash talk, okay? We're gonna work on it. So the girls fight Megaera, and Megaera's just like, children? They send children to do battle with me. It's been a while since I've committed genocide on the innocent. And she's like, and Blossom's like, we're not your ordinary children. And he's like, please, first shot's on you. So the girls battle Megaera, and Megaera is just like, she takes like punches from them, and even Blossom and even Buttercup's like, God, it's like punching titanium. So the girls battle Megaera, and things do not go well things don't go well for them. But just as they're getting their asses handed to them, that's when they hear they hear a classic "Aya!" and Tommy comes flying in, kicks Megaera in the face, and that's when the Power Rangers show up, and Megaera's like, she's like, Zordon, the acolytes of Zordon. After I'm done killing all of you, I'm gonna go after him next. He's like, you might want to make room for more people on your shit list. And that's when Megaera turns around. It's the Sailor Guardians who are like, holy crap, the Power Rangers and the Powerpuff Girls. And the Powerpuff Girls are like, holy crap, the Power Rangers and the Sailor Guardians. They're all like, everyone's freaking out over meeting the other one, and like, there's just this moment where even the Power Rangers like, the Sailor Guardians and the Powerpuff Girls. Oh man, this is really cool. So then they have to like huddle up together, and they're like, you want to do something cool while battling Megaera? And they're like, yeah, cool, what's that? And they all do the striking pose, and the explosion happens, and like Buttercup Blossom is like, that makes no sense. That's so, what? We're not going to talk about, never mind. So now all the members of the Power Rangers, Sailor Guardians, and the Power Rangers, all of them team up to battle Megaera. And Megaera's just kind of like, still like, I'm glad you all are all here in one place. I get to kill all of you in one spot. So as they're battling Megaera, they're just like hitting her with everything they've got, and as they're fighting, they're seeing like she could still take a lot of like damage from all of their attacks. Eventually, like, what they have to do is like, maybe Blossom comes up with the idea alongside Billy and Sailor Mercury, is like, maybe separately we're not doing a lot of damage separately, but maybe together we can actually do harm to her. And they're like, that's a great idea. Same thing with Zordon and Serenity. They combined their power together. Maybe that's what we'd have to do physically. So they put together the Power Blaster. The Rangers put the Power Blaster together, and Sailor Moon like charges her energy through it, and they fire it. The girls use their heat vision to like wrap around the beam, and it blasts a hole through Megaera. And she's just like, no, this can't be, and then turns like in a last ditch effort as she falls to the ground. Everyone's like, woohoo, we won, and the Rangers are like, nope. I know what happens. We know what happens next, and they're like, "Well, what happens next?" And she turns into this huge, like, Hydra monster. This huge, like, 5-headed, like, almost like Ghidorah-looking Hydra monster. And they're like, "That." And they're like, "Well, we know what we have to do now. We need Megazord power." So they get the Zords together, and. So they get the Zords together. The girls and the Sailor Guardians also give backup because they're like, well, we don't have giant robots. And then they're like, oh wait, we do. So the girls get the Dynamo to help out, and the Sailor Guardians are like, well, crap, we don't have anything. We don't have a giant robot. Why don't we have a giant robot? And Ami's like, focus, Usagi. So what they do is. They're like, well, maybe since we could channel our energy through, the Ranger's gun, maybe we can do the same to them. So what they do is, like, hop into the Megazord and channel their energy through the Zord, so the Megazord can get a new sword. And it is the Celestial Moon Saber Slash, and just destroys Megara in that attack. Megara's destroyed. The day is saved thanks to the Powerpuff Girls, Power Rangers, and Sailor Moon. So everyone's just like, holy crap, that was amazing. Billy's like, yeah, it was more phenomenal. And Buttercup goes, never. No, I don't like that. And Ami's like, I like it. And Ray immediately goes, no. I'm capping that right now. So yeah. So by the end of it, everyone's just like, high-fiving and, this is great. And then they're like, so what do we do now? Pizza party! And that's how it ends, is just all of them having pizza together. The end. So there you go, guys. That is the 3-way crossover. I'd like to thank my good friend Jason for sending me this Patreon request. You guys tell me in the comments below. What did you guys think of it? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.